sharpen her mouth to insult and abuse Ifeoma. Ifeoma, when will you bless this family with children? Or is it forbidden to bear kids where you come from? Naya would ask Ifeoma, squeezing her face like rotten tomato. A long, long time ago, in the village of Anocha, there lived a young girl named Ifeoma. Ifeoma wasn't just any girl. She was bright as the morning sun and full of dreams bigger than the tallest palm trees in Anocha. She had a calm spirit, always joyful and cheerful. From when she was little, Ifeoma loved sitting by her grandmother's side, listening to Bible stories, brave warriors, and the Civil War story. Her grandmother always said, Ifeoma, the world is your oyster. You will do exploits in this world. Always remember your roots and hold God close. When she was done with secondary school, she wanted to explore the country. So she opted to go to University of Benin City to study literature. At the university, there was this quiet guy, Kazim, a guy from Uneme, a certain town in Benin City, who was very intelligent. His charisma went before him. He wasn't one to shout or show off, but his smile could make the toughest woman giggle and shy away. Ifeoma noticed him right away. Every time he walked past, her heart did funny little flips. Her stomach felt like they had butterfly in them. But she didn't even say anything to him. She believed a lady should not woo a man, but it should be the other way around. Little did she know that Kazim had noticed her, but kept his cool as well. He was bidding and waiting for the right time to appear in her life as a savior in shining armor. So one day, on her way home, she was walking past where Kazim was gisting with some of his friends when her purse slipped from her hand and fell. Ifeoma was not aware that this happened, and so she kept on walking. Kazim rushed to pick up the purse and ran to catch up with her. "Hello, pretty lady. I think you dropped this." Oh my God, Ifeoma screamed in her mind. Her long-admired crush is surprisingly talking to her? She felt like she had won a lottery without even buying a ticket. She was excited, but she chose to keep her cool. "Oh, I did? Thank you so much," she said casually and took the purse. However, she didn't even walk out immediately, and Kazim took this as an opportunity to introduce himself, and then he offered to walk her home. From then on, they became really good friends, and before 1 month, they started dating. They shared notes in school and went on mini dates in Mama Bantu's shop, where they ate hot fried puff-puff with cold zobo. They enjoyed their times together, laughing. They were very happy. Whenever they were together, nothing else mattered. After graduation, life pulled them in different directions. Kazim started working at an oil company near Warri, while Ifeoma became a writer, something she had always loved. On her free days though, she volunteered to teach at a small school close to her house, where the kids thought she was the coolest teacher ever. Although they were apart, their love stayed strong. They talked on the phone until midnight, telling each other all about their days, not leaving out any details. On some weekends, they visited each other and made the best out of it. They promised each other they'd build a life together. One evening, as Ifeoma and Kazim sat on his parlor couch seeing a movie together, Kazim dropped the big question. "Ifeoma, will you marry me? You complete me, and I would really be honored to spend the rest of my life with you." Tears filled Ifeoma's eyes, and she said, "Yes! Yes, I would love to marry you, Kazim." Kazim was very happy, and with joy, he planned to take Ifeoma to see his mom the very next day. They traveled down to his family house in Uneme to see his mother. On getting there, Iye, as Kazim fondly calls her, was so happy to see her son. She hugged him tightly and pretended not to see Ifeoma. Good afternoon, Iye, Ifeoma said with a wide smile on her face. Tototum, Iye didn't even respond her. In fact, she didn't even act like a human being was standing before her. Ifeoma was now wondering what she did wrong, but she kept her cool. Mama, this is the woman I want to marry. Meet Ifeoma, Kazim said. Iye gave Ifeoma a bombastic side eye and said, welcome, in a very dry manner that actually interpreted, you are not welcome in my home. After they had rested and eaten, Iye called Kazim to a corner and said, my son, I know you think you are in love, but I cannot support you to marry someone from Igbo tribe. When we have very beautiful and responsible girls here in the village. In fact, there is this girl I have been grooming for you. Just wait till you see her first. Imosebose, very beautiful girl. Kazim cut his mother off at this point because he had heard enough of her rubbish. Iye, Ifeoma is the woman I want to marry. I am not asking for your permission. I am only informing you as my mother. So the earlier you believe it, the better for all of us. Good night, oh. Iye was very angry and bitter at her son's dismissive behavior. She knew how stubborn he could be, but she pressed a few more times to see if he would budge, all to no avail. After all said and done, she had no choice but to accept Ifeoma as her mother-in-law. Their wedding was simple, full of laughter, good food like correct egusi soup and pounded yam. Jollof rice, of course, must be represented, with fresh palm wine flowing like the river during the rainy season. Family and friends danced and sang happily. It was a day to remember. Ifeoma and Kazim lived their first 2 years of marriage like lovebirds in full flight. From early mornings to nights, they did everything together. On busy work days, Kazim never failed to surprise Ifeoma. One day, while she was busy teaching her pupils in school, stressed and tired, he showed up with a basket of her favorite suya and chilled zobo drink. I just thought you would need some energy, my love, he said, smiling widely. Her smile lit up the room, and for a moment, all her tiredness and worries melted away. The two lovebirds were always having fun, making every memory count. Weekends were for exploring. They would drive down the river, tossing off their shoes to swim in the cool water, laughing like children under the sun. Sometimes they visited the local market, hand in hand like two lovebirds, tasting sweet abalomo and eating fresh corn. But in all this joy, they both decided to take their time with children. They said they would give themselves 1 year plus before having kids. We have our whole life ahead, Kazim said, wrapping his arms around Ifeoma. But for now, let's just enjoy being us, okay? I like that idea, my love, Ifeoma replied happily. So for that 1 year plus, they chilled, lived and loved, not bothered by questions or pressure by anybody at all, most especially Kazim's mother. Iye was not happy at all with this decision. In fact, Ifeoma dreaded her coming. Her home was always very peaceful and joyful, except for the times Iye visited. Whenever she was around, she would narrow her eyes and sharpen her mouth to insult and abuse Ifeoma. Ifeoma, when will you bless this family with children? Or is it forbidden to bear kids where you come from? Iye would ask Ifeoma, squeezing her face like rotten tomato. Kazim defended Ifeoma while still trying to maintain his respect for his mom. Iye, Ifeoma and I have plans. We are not rushing into anything. But Iye gave them a bombastic side eye as usual, showing that she was running out of patience. Iye was the weapon fashioned against Ifeoma. She blasted her with insults day in, day out. Kazim was not even very helpful. I mean, he did not shun his mother firmly. He was just being calm and respectful. Iye, please, give Ifeoma time. God's timing is the best, he would say. Abeg, don't start with your God's timing preaching. I am only doing what is best for everyone, okay? If I leave Ifeoma to relax, 10 years will pass and I will not carry my grandchildren. And I am not getting any younger. Lahore, Iye snapped back. She had cornered her way into letting Kazim believe that she was sick to stay by herself in the village. So when she pleaded to come and stay with Kazim, he simply accepted. After all, he was her only child. Ifeoma was not comfortable with this idea, but she couldn't do much about it either, seeing that Kazim was only looking out for his mother. On one hot afternoon, as Ifeoma sat quietly at the dining table, eating some fried chicken she got from a fast food on her way back from work, a rare treat she had looked forward to all day, Iye appeared like a shadow, and without any warning, she snatched the meat right from Ifeoma's mouth and spat loudly. Osanobwa, God forbid. So you don't know that fried food is not good for you? Eh? Look at you, adding weight and fattening up like a cow. Do you think a child will come if you're overweight? You're supposed to be doing exercise, this girl. You are here eating chicken. Rubbish. She took the chicken and stormed out immediately, heading for the trash. Ifeoma's eyes were filled with tears. Her heart was shattered, but she swallowed the pain and didn't reply. She kept her cool out of the respect she has for her husband. But the constant insults always left a dent in her heart. Days like that became a norm. The house that should have been a sanctuary was now a battlefield where Iye ruled with wickedness and toxicity. Whenever Kazim left for work, Iye's torments began. One morning, as Ifeoma laid down, napping on her couch in the parlor, exhausted from her work, Iye crept in with a basin of cold water, and without a word, she poured it on Ifeoma. Ifeoma gasped awake, shivering from the shock. Iye, what is the meaning of this now? She said, holding herself from fighting the old witch. Wake up, Iye barked. Why is everywhere littered like this? Why are you so lazy? All you do is eat junks and sleep in this house. Is this how to be a wife? You're just a big for nothing, lazy like a pig. I wonder what my son saw in you. Ifeoma tried to gather herself. She was furious. Tears just rolled freely down her cheeks. She felt helpless. She quietly got up, got dressed and left the house. She went straight to her husband's office. Honey, I can't do this anymore. I can't take it anymore. I am tired of your mother's constant nagging. I am tired. This isn't the life I want. This is simply too much. How can someone be so cruel? She cried out in Kazim's arms. Kazim tried to calm her down, encouraging her that she shouldn't give up on them and that God will smile on them very soon. All this while waiting on God for a miracle, Ifeoma was busy going from one prayer ministry to the other, crying unto God, praying and hoping that he would remember her like he remembered Hannah, asking for the strength to withstand the temptations and trials she faced every day in the hands of Iye. One day, on her way coming back from church in the evening, Iye blocked her by the entrance door, handing her a bottle of strange concoction that smelt like dead rats, dark in color and very bitter. She pushed it into Ifeoma's hands with force. If you know what is good for you, you will drink this and you will thank me very well. This is going to open your womb. Because as you know, God helps those that help themselves. Ifeoma stared at the bottle disgustingly and she said, Iye, thank you for your thoughtfulness, but unfortunately, I am not drinking that, please. Before Iye could say another word, Kazim came out. Iye, that's enough. Please leave my wife alone. She is not drinking whatever that is in that bottle. We are waiting on the Lord. We don't need your juju. Thank you. Iye was already feeling defeated, but she said, don't say I didn't do anything for you. I have tried my own. Now na sabi. She hissed and turned to go. Each day brought new cruelty and wickedness out of Iye. Iye would purposely hide Ifeoma's belongings for no reason, just to watch her be frustrated. She spread rumors in the neighborhood that Ifeoma was a witch, she was lazy, she was wicked, and that she was cursed. When Ifeoma cooked, Iye would complain, oh, this girl, you know sabi cook. This is literally poison. So you want to kill me and my son, so you can take over. That is your plan, Abi? Osanobuabe. God forbid. Ifeoma saw herself bathing in her own tears. She cried herself to sleep on many nights, longing for peace of mind. In all of this, one thing was constant. Ifeoma never stopped praying and hoping on God. She was certain God will remember her in His own time. Through it all, her spirit did not break. She carried the weight of Iye's hatred silently, holding on to the hope that one day her prayers would be answered. Even when her faith was being tested all the time by Iye, she held on. She never argued or fought back. She just tried as much as possible to avoid Iye at all costs. At home, Kazim grew more restless. He loved Ifeoma fearlessly, but he felt trapped between his mother and his wife. On some nights, when he noticed Ifeoma crying, he would get up and offer some love and support to her, encouraging and reminding her that they were in this together. Listen, honey, don't worry. We'll get through this together, I promise you, Kazim would say. Months turned into years, and for the first time in many years, the sun seemed to shine a little brighter in Ifeoma and Kazim's home. Ifeoma became pregnant. The whole family was excited, except for one, of course. Iye's face was like spoiled amala. Her heart was heavy with envy as she said, until I see my baby with this my two korokoro eyes, I'm not believing anything you people say. It's not me you will use and toy with. Iye, why are you so bitter? Why can't you just be happy for me and my wife? What has Ifeoma ever done to deserve this heartlessness from you? Kazim asked his mother. My friend, shut up. You can say anything you want. All I care about is to carry my grandchildren before I die. Or is that too much to ask? Ifeoma, on her own part, was very excited. Finally, God has remembered her case. She praised and danced like David did. She registered for antenatal classes and followed the teachings religiously. Everything was going well until she hit 4 months. That was when the disaster came like a thief in the night. Ifeoma woke up one morning with pain that spread throughout her body like wildfire. She held her belly, crying so much. Kazim rushed her to the hospital, but it was too late. The baby was gone, just like that, without any prior complications whatsoever. But, doctor, we did everything you asked us to do. We got everything right. Where did we go wrong? Ifeoma said while crying on her hospital bed. She was broken. The news hit the family like a thunderbolt. Friends cried with them, but Iye smiled coldly. And when Ifeoma got home, she wasted no time to say to her, I said it, oh, Shebi, I talk it. I said you are killing your children one by one in the spirit realm. And you just proved me right. Aje, witch. Iye blasted Ifeoma. Ifeoma ran inside her room and locked herself in, crying her heart out to God. She refused to eat for days. This particular incident shook her, but she never denied God. As she sat alone that night, locked in her room, she was trembling. Crying profusely, she looked up to heaven and wailed, "Dear God, why? My heart is crushed. I don't understand this pain, but I'm still here. I'm still holding on to you. I know you hear me. Please carry me through. Heal this brokenness inside me. Give me peace. Give me strength. Have mercy on my soul. Amen." And just like that, God listened. 2 months later, another miracle happened. Ifeoma took in. Congratulations were flying in like breeze. This time, Kazim's smile was brighter than the morning sun. Ifeoma was very careful and hopeful. She went to prayer ministries almost every day, wailing and asking God to complete the good work He has started in her life. The months passed slowly, and each day was a gift. When the baby finally came, a tiny, perfect baby girl, joy filled the home like a flood. However, they didn't go home immediately because Ifeoma had some complications during childbirth, which made her stay for some more days in the hospital. But on the day they were supposed to be discharged, tragedy struck. The baby turned blue. She was placed on oxygen and all the doctors were on her case. They did everything possible to keep the baby from dying, but all their efforts turned futile. Kazim and Ifeoma watched helplessly as the light in their child's eyes dimmed. The baby stopped breathing. Ifeoma's screams echoed in the hospital. She wailed. It was as if the whole universe was working against her. Ifeoma lamented in the hospital walkway. First, it was no pregnancy at all for 6 whole years. Then I took in and miscarried. Now I have given birth. And they have also taken my child away from me. After carrying her for 9 months, they have taken her away from me. What have I done to even deserve this wickedness? What have I done? No amount of sorry and sympathy could hold Ifeoma. She wanted to go with her child. Kazim cried silently, but if you came close to him, you would see that he was literally shaking with grief. He locked himself in his room and cried to God, "Dear God, why am I being punished? Why is my wife going through all these sufferings? Is it not enough? Haven't you done enough? We have been nothing but faithful to you, praying and serving you like you asked us to. Why have you forsaken us now? Please take this pain away from my wife and give it to me, please. My wife has already been through a lot already." Kazim prayed and cried all through the night. But after that prayer, he felt empty. He started resenting God and everything about him. He stopped going to church. He stopped praying and talking about God. He started going dark. He was lost. He lost all the energy he had to even shun Iye or defend his wife. He just existed. The house felt cold and empty, but Ifeoma's heart refused to give in to the darkness. She prayed like her life depended on it, calling on God's mercy. She was fervent. She prayed with scriptures, reminding God of His promises to her. "Lord, you said there shall be no barren woman in thy land." She went on and on day after day, ignoring Iye, but holding on to God more than ever. She tried to draw her husband's faith back to God, to no avail, but this didn't discourage her. One night, as she slept, A very clear vision came. The Holy Spirit spoke to her in a voice that was both very gentle and commanding. Ifeoma, my daughter, your suffering will not be in vain. You will take in, but when you do, you must keep it a secret. Travel far from this place. Hide your pregnancy from everyone but your husband. After the child is born, wait 3 full months before you reveal the miracle. Don't forget to document your pregnancy journey because it will sound like a lie to people. It will serve as proof. Your enemies will be shamed and God's justice will prevail. When Ifeoma woke up from that sleep, tears of hope and renewed strength filled her eyes. She knew the road ahead would be hard, but she was ready. For the first time in many years, she was at peace and it radiated and shined through. She told Kazim about the dream and he simply nodded. At this point, he didn't really believe. He just went on with the plan because his wife asked him to. So even though Ifeoma had not taken in, they started making plans. They got her passports ready for traveling and they told Iye beforehand that she will be traveling to UK for her masters and won't be back until after 2 years. As expected, Iye blasted her. Oh, it is school that is important to you. You want to go and waste 2 years of your life abroad instead of you to stay here and give me grandkids. Ifeoma and Kazim simply ignored her and walked away. The first 3 months passed and nothing happened. Honey, I think we should consider adoption, Kazim told Ifeoma one day. Ifeoma simply smiled and said, I know it might be so dark right now. Even if you don't have the faith anymore, my husband, my own faith, it will carry the both of us. God has remembered us already. It is just not manifesting physically yet. Give it time. Soon, you'll see. We are going to smile again, she said, full of hope. On the 4th month of waiting, as Ifeoma was writing on her computer, she felt very dizzy and she decided to take a nap. She woke up feeling even more dizzy and nauseous. Kazim insisted that she took malaria tablets, but she refused. Honey, please, I don't want to do self-medication, okay? Let's just go to the hospital, Ifeoma pleaded. After running some tests, the doctor called the both of them into his office and broke the news of her pregnancy. He said she was already 3 weeks gone. The joy the couple felt was immeasurable, but they stuck to the plan. They didn't tell anybody. They finalized Ifeoma's papers and she left the next week. Weeks turned into months and before they blinked, it was 9 months already. Kazim came to the UK before Ifeoma's due date so that he would be there to support her through it all. On the D-Day, Ifeoma went in for a cesarean section and came out with 3 plets, 2 boys and a girl. The couple were the happiest people on earth. It took everything in them not to call their friends and their family to announce the news, but they stuck to God's instruction and kept it hidden. They nurtured their babies and cared for them until they clocked 3 months. That was when they traveled back to Nigeria. On their arrival, Iye saw them and fainted. She was rushed to the hospital, but the doctors could not even find anything medically wrong with her. And so they discharged her, but her illness kept getting worse. Her legs were getting fat and was rotting and smelling. She could not stand nor move around again. It was not a joke. Iye's illness was so strange that Kazim found a way to take her back to the village. When they got to the village, Iye demanded that the village healer should come to examine her and give her some freshly made abo. Kazim obeyed and invited the healer to come and examine his mother. After all the necessary examination, She gave Iye some concoctions to drink and promised she will be healed within 4 days. But guess what? The sickness got worse. Iye's case was so critical that nobody could come close to her. She was very stinky. When she noticed that help wasn't coming from anyone anymore, she decided to come clean. She begged Kazim to tell Ifeoma to come to the village so that she can beg her for forgiveness. Ifeoma was reluctant at first, but after Kazim pleaded with her, she decided to go. On getting there, she used her handkerchief to tie her nose because the stink was something else. My daughter, I want you to forgive me. Please find a place in your heart to forgive me. I have wronged you in the most terrible ways possible. I was responsible for your childlessness. I tied your womb and threw it into our village river. I vowed that it was over my dead body that you will live to give birth to a living child, let alone 3. The truth is, I wanted my son to send you away so that he can marry someone else. I just hated you for no reason. I hated your spirit. I am so sorry. You serve a living God and He has showed Himself mighty in your life. He has fought your battles and you have won. Please, my dear, please forgive me, Iye cried out. Kazim and Ifeoma's jaw dropped open in shock. A woman Ifeoma took as a mother was the reason for her misfortune, the reason for her suffering all these years. This was indeed a hard nut to swallow. Ifeoma simply walked away, not wanting to hear any more of her evil. Kazim felt betrayed and disappointed. If his own mother could cause him this level of hurt, then it was all over. He joined his wife and they drove off, leaving Iye to her own fate. Isolated and abandoned, Iye's health withered. She had a slow, lonely death that she brought upon herself. She spent her last days alone, miserable, begging death to take her. In fact, the villagers carried her to the evil forest, as that was their custom for people with such strange diseases. Meanwhile, Ifeoma flourished. Her triplets grew healthier and stronger, surrounded by love and a healthy family. I know you must have learned a lot from this story, so I would love to hear from you. Kindly drop the moral lessons you got from this story in the comment section below, and I'll see you soon. Please subscribe and like this video and subscribe to this channel. Thank you all so much for your support. Until next time, Ngwano bye.